Are you able to quickly just skip those tests? I think I've got them right.
Yep. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3. This is Smudge's Broadmeadow Magic FC mic. Testing, 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 testing. I actually like this one the best.
Yeah, that one seems
To be a little bit louder.
Yeah, that one seems a lot. It's got.
Here we go. Testing, 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 testing. Yep. I might just use this one. Yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
Good. Alright, cool. Alright, so yeah, when you guys are ready to go, I'll just turn the slate off.
Yep.
Yeah, so just let me know.
Yep, no worries at all. I'll just wait for Smudge to duck up and we'll work out where we're sitting.
It's a bit tight.
You're right. Oh, I've been here for 10 minutes.
Hey Smudge, do you want us to all sit along there?
Don't mind.
Or do you want me to sit up here and you
This
guys
bloke
sit
here,
down?
Harry, so that little guy on the thing up.
He goes, mate, you from Bar TV? I said, yeah. I said, I watch Bar TV every week. I watch every game on Bar TV. I love it.
Really?
I said, well, I'll give you a shout out today. So Harry, yeah, this bloke here, he just grabbed me. Like he sort of, I was walking past, he just grabbed me like that. I said, who's going to win today? He goes, it's going to be a very close game. It's going to be 2-1 to Olympic. I said, do you go for Olympic? He goes, oh, sort of. Yeah, if you want to stay above us.
Do you want that?
Do you want,
Or do you want me to sit down? Or we can push this across.
Yeah, no, we can slide that over a little bit. And I was just sitting here.
well, it's something's called there.
There we go. Because
You can stay above.
if I'm here and CT's over there, he won't be able to hear me.
Yep.
Now that's your mic.
Or do you want to sit up the back with, I'm happy to sit in front.
Or do you want to sit up the back of me?
No, that's all right.
That's all right.
Just stay like this, all right? Okay.
There you go. Oh, hang on. Testing, testing, testing. Here you go.
We got him a red bib.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
Smudge, can you sing Stand By Me?
Won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. That was pretty cool last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the wedding?
No, well, I was watching the Storm Seagulls punch up, and then I decided I'd turn onto the wedding.
What was the Reverend?
The
Yeah, what was his name?
I don't know, but he was an interesting character.
Yeah, yeah. It's all
So,
about-
darling, now won't you? Hang on, you gotta. Okay.
Did you get those?
What I'll do is I'll wait for them to here in the tunnel, and then we'll go live just as they're about to come out.
Hey, so CT, we'll give man of the match. Oi. Hey, so man of the match, we'll give a Harry Schnitzel. We won't do sports. You happy with that? Oh, do you want to do sports click? Does he sponsor?
Let's discuss it at half time.
Oh, you better make sure you do that intense stuff too.
Oh. Yeah, I'd never do that. I keep forgetting.
Oh, I was looking the other way when you said me.
Could you bring some honey?
That's from James Cleal.
For me?
You're sitting on my mic, mate.
Did he bring this in for me, did he?
Here you go. Oop, are you right?
Did he
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
this in for me?
yep.
Classic.
Serious. So we got Mitch Oxborough as well. CT? Mitch is out, so Oxborough. So I might get him for an interview, second half.
All right, let me check the time, and then I'll do my little intro spiel.
Sons of pain, isn't it? Just right on you.
Just on your hair line. Yeah, let's go. Here we go. Here comes the door knock. Yeah, let's go live. Let's go
Quick
live.
beer at
From Peter Haynes, simply Magic match winner back in 2013 to that pulsating semi-final series in 2016. These matches between Broadmeadow and Hamilton rarely disappoint. And this afternoon we get the pleasure of watching a derby which simply couldn't have arrived at a better time. After a slow start to the season where they could win just once in their opening 6 matches, Hamilton Olympic are humming along nicely now with 4 straight wins in all competitions. The visitors today, Broadmeadow, also went through their own rough patch of form, losing 2 on the trot only last month. But they too have roared into life, winning 6 straight across the NPL and FFA Cup. These are the matches fans, players and football lovers alike simply live for. And hopefully we get another special derby at Darling Street this afternoon. So it's time to check the team news for the visitors. Broadmeadow Magic, Ruben Zadkovic makes 2 changes to the side who beat the Jets Youth 4-2 last weekend. The big news is Mitch Oxborough. He scored twice last weekend in the win. He's out of the side with a hamstring injury. Dino Fajkovic makes his return from suspension, while John Griffiths is also out. He was suspended after a red card against Thornton in the FFA Cup midweek. Matt Hull returns in place of him. For Hamilton Olympic, Pete McGuinness' side, they've been in superb form of late. They won their 4th match in a row midweek when they beat Western 2-0 at Bear Park. He makes 3 changes from that side. Tyler Warren comes in and goals for Dan Eisenhower. Simon Mooney returns to the starting side, and he scored 5 in his last 4 in the NPL. And Leo Bertos replaces Jed Hornery. On the bench for both sides, for Magic, John Majorowski, leading scorer in matches for Hamilton Olympic against Broadmeadow. He'll be on the bench for Magic this afternoon. And for Hamilton, we may see a debut for one of their youngsters, Joe Templey and Kane Treble, both on the bench, and neither have played an NPL match for either side. The coaches, Ruben Zadkovic, since the halfway mark of last season, his side have been almost unstoppable. They've tasted victory in 15 of their last 19 matches. And for his opposite number, Pete McGuinness, his NPL coaching return, reached the nadir of just 2 wins in 17 matches. However, he's turned it around recently, winning 4 straight across the NPL and FF Cup. Also, there is a little bit of animosity between Zadkovic and McGuinness. Pete McGuinness tried to sign Cody Carroll in the off-season, only to be poached by Broadmeadow Magic. So interesting to see what might go on down on the benches. Referee for this afternoon's match is James Cleal. Perfect conditions for this derby at Darling Street. It's 20 degrees, the wind 16 kilometres an hour from the west, so that won't impact on either side. It'll be coming straight across the ground. So the first derby of season 2018. It's Magic from right to left. And Chris Turner and Damien Smith, red and blue. It's very synonymous with Newcastle, but today you're either red or you're blue. And which colour will prevail this afternoon?
Well, it's an interesting question, Bart, and good afternoon. Hello, Smudge. So what I can tell you, though, it's absolutely perfect, the conditions here this afternoon, and we're in for a cracker of a match. Smudge was just having a look at the lineups earlier with Olympic going with a 4-2-3-1 setup and Magic looked like a 3-4-3. How are you seeing the contrast in those 2 combinations for each side shaping up?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a battle on midfield, definitely there. But I think for Magic, they've gone with the back 3, back 5 in the recent weeks. Their defence has been a lot more solid, and yeah, it's been a bit more compact and a lot better. So I think Magic's always got goals in them with a front 3 of Dino Fadge, Carl Bradbury and James Virgili. They've got Oxborough out today and Majorowski's on the bench, so they're going to be thereabouts scoring goals. So it all depends if they can get their defence in order.
And we were saying pre-match, Smudge, that both sides effectively without their best players. So Mitch Oxborough for Broadmeadow Magic, he's out of the side. And for Hamilton Olympic, Reece Cooper, he's away playing futsal over in Spain at the moment. Shane Paul down against the touchline.
Well, what we do need to be careful is not being skinny on the talent that's out there on the park. You can look across both sides and see a ton of talent without going through them individually. Certainly both sides have got some key players out, but there's plenty out there to show this afternoon. And both squads have got depth, so that that really does come into play on days like today.
Yeah, and what was impressive with Olympic last week was their defensive structure, wasn't it, CT? They played a nice high line, really restricted Lambton to limited opportunities. But also their defence came from Simon Mooney at the front. They put pressure on the back line, Lambton's back line, and that was the key last week for them. So I think if they maintain that, they've had a bit of a shift in same formation.
Cody Lucas just released the shackles a little bit down the right flank.
Yeah, it's interesting. McGuinness has brought Leo Bertos into that number 10 role and brought Jared Sutherland out here wide on the right. What are your thoughts on that, CT?
Well, I think that McGuinness would be thinking that the attacking strength of the defence of Broadmeadow is one thing, but bringing Bertos into the middle of the park effectively, when you look at Broadmeadow's midfield, they're very, very strong physically, and so maybe Sutherland, doesn't hold that same physical presence as what Bertos would. And not only that, he's not going to get overawed in this situation.
Yeah, just on that, me personally, I'd probably keep it as is. I thought Jared Sutherland was excellent in the centre of the park last week. I thought he was strong defensively.
James Virgili finding some space down that far side. Hasn't scored since round 4, James Virgili. Of course, he dislocated the shoulder a couple of weeks ago in the win over Adamstown, so this is just his second match back. And that return from injury.
Yeah, my personal, going back to that Bertos versus Sutherland, I prefer Bertos out wide when he's in one-on-one situations, and he can whip a beautiful ball, and we've seen him set up a few goals this year just from his pure crossing, where Sutherland last week was quite effective and elusive in that centre of the park. A few 1-2s with the strike with Mooney and created a few things and created a goal for Pettit.
He did everything going forward, but I think when you mentioned before about Mooney defending from the top, then Sutherland, he's probably not going to be as strong, I think, as Bertos sitting in behind him. And if they're going to put pressure on at the top end, that's a good way to do it. But I agree with what you say. Sutherland was terrific in there last week.
There's Luke Virgili looking for Dino Fajkovic. Magic striker. He's in his first match back after serving that suspension he received after the silly collision, the push shoulder on Zach Snedden in that particular match.
The other interesting matchup here is Scott Pettit, was at Magic for many, many years. I had him at Magic for quite a number of years. He's playing against his old club for the first time, so be mixed emotions for him. He loved his red blood through his veins for many, many years at Magic, but obviously it's a big rival today, and he's up against his good mate Matty Hurl. Scotty Pettit's best mate's Andrew Hill, Matty's brother, so it's going to be a very interesting battle between those two.
I'm glad he's got red blood flowing through his veins, Smudge.
Here's Sutherland just nicking the ball off Piddington, and James Thill saying he was just simply out-muscled there. A bigger man, Josh Piddington, in comparison to small frame of Sutherland. Here is Jake McGuinness, trying to weave his way around Justin Broadley, and Bertos with that raking ball to Mooney. Tried to look for the pass back to McGuinness. Just on Scott Pettit, Smudge actually scored in the last match between these two sides for Broadmeadow Magic. They won 2-1 here at Darling Street. Magic have not lost here in a couple of years. It's been a happy hunting ground, the home ground of their biggest rival. It's Hodges. You could even say maybe Edgeworth and Magic, the rivalry between those two has gone close to surpassing the rivalry Magic has felt with Olympic. That one, a rivalry both on and off the park.
Yeah, I think but these two clubs, they're like traditional rivals. It stems back sort of in the history books, doesn't it, CT, in a way. So there's always going to be rivals here. And you know what? And they're crosstown locals as well. So as a coach and as a player playing in these matches, these are the matches you love playing.
Here's Josh Piddington. Sees the run of Shane Paul down the left flank and found him with a perfectly weighted pass. Here's Bradbury just leaving the ball behind him, and Shane Paul was brought down illegally. Now, I was just going to say so much. This is, well, probably not quite within range for Cody Carroll, and we have got a goal. Valentine have just scored against Adamstown Rosebud at Carl Oval. I don't know if you heard Smudge say go Valentine. He actually tipped Valentine in that match, so...
I would never say that.
I tipped Adamstown, so that's not great for me. But here's Takumi Sonata, so Cody Carroll scored a couple of free kicks, special free kicks in recent weeks. A little bit far out for his left boot and on the wrong side of the field. So it is Sonata. Whips it in towards the back post, where Tyler Warren's there to punch away.
That was a tremendous ball, wasn't it? It was probably perfect ball for any runner running forward. That was a great opportunity for Magic there.
I saw Tyler Warren just come in and punch it away because he knew how dangerous it was if anyone was bounding in on that he wasn't watching. He had his eyes focused on the ball and made no mistake with that one.
I don't know if you two remember, but Takumi Sonata's free kick actually set up the first goal in the clash between these two sides last year in round 11. He wasn't credited with the goal, but it ricocheted off the back of Tom Davies and into the back of the net last year.
I do remember, actually. I think CT was on holidays, one of his usual holidays.
And I was very sick that afternoon. I had a terrible cold, and yeah, it was lucky it wasn't just you by yourself, Smudge, talking to yourself. You would have had fun.
It actually felt like that, so I'm glad I pulled you through, Bart.
I think you did. Well, you two always pull me through, so here's Tyler Warren launching it long. Yeah, Takumi Sonata still no goals in the NPL for him. A couple of seasons now, or a season and a half.
Talking to Anthony Richards prior to the game, he said he's been the utility player. Like, he's played in the midfield, he's played out wide. Now he's sort of playing on the right-hand side of a back three. So very interesting. They've got him pushing just on Liam Burdos in that number 10 role, actually.
Shane Paul with an elbow in the back as he went up. There was no malice in it, just going up for the header. Puts his body on the line, Shane Paul, all the time. He scored a famous goal in meetings between these two back in the 2012 grand final. It was 0-0 and he broke the deadlock right on half-time, Smudge. There's that photo I know in the Magic trophy room, the auditorium there.
Yeah, remember that clearly, Bart. That was my last time as coach, so yeah, it was a great win. Great day. Had the birth of my daughter a few days later.
Which was better?
That was Mooney up for a header, and just note that he wasn't far off, and he has scored with his head the last 2 weeks in a row.
He has. He scored 5 in his last 4, CT. I might come back to that question that I asked Smudge, because I do want him to answer that.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Here is Scott Pettit.
Great ball.
Curling it in, and Paul Bitts gobbles that one up. 4 clean sheets for him this year on the Magic back line. Best in the competition.
Just very interesting here at Olympic. They're keeping 4 men at bay at the moment. I've noticed their right and left fullbacks, Cody Lucas and Blake Green, have just stayed put. They haven't pushed on, so they're just trying to nullify those spaces for Virgili and Bradbury out wide.
Jared Sutherland just nipping in there and breaking down the Magic move from the back line. There's Sonata. So, Smudge, what was better, the 2012 grand final win or the birth of your daughter?
Well, obviously, I'm going to say the birth of my daughter, but the grand final win was very special. It was
close.
An unbelievable feeling.
It was close, was it? Not too much between them.
And again, CT, Olympic playing a nice high line, really compacting the space like they did to Lambton last week. It was very organised, wasn't it?
It was, and what we noticed last week is that the left and right fullbacks in Green and Lucas didn't ever go at the same time. One went and one stayed, where at the moment, you're right, looks like they're pressing really high. They're really making Magic work for it here and staying at bay, those two.
He's Broadley onto Bradbury. Run into a wall of blue there. He was able to get the pass wide to Virgili. He's put that ball towards Shane Paul, and a little bump on Cody Lucas. That is looking to be an interesting duel between those two this afternoon, Shane Paul and Cody Lucas. He started in all 8 matches for Hamilton this year. Very consistent.
Yeah, that'd be a very good duel. But if I was Ruben Zakovic, I'd probably play Carl Bradbury a little bit wider, let him go one-on-one with Cody Lucas, because Bradbury's gone in for pace, and it'd be very threatening, I feel. However, at the moment, Bradbury sort of just tucking in, allowing Shane Paul to do the overlap from the left midfield position. I'd have Bradbury coming wider, getting in that one-on-one with Cody Lucas.
Bertos, he held up the ball nicely and turned. Found Scott Pettit, who had some space but was quickly closed down by Matt Houle. Illegally so. according to James Cleel. Ruben Zadkovic raises his arms. Not impressed with that decision.
Boys just around the ground. Valentine 1, Adamstown 1. 2 early goals out of Valentine.
Good news. CT, I think you tipped the draw in that one, did you? We all went a different way in that particular match, in the tipping. So anyway, he doesn't know who he's tipped. So Scott Pettit standing over this one. He has been in red-hot form lately. He scored 3 goals in his last 3 matches, a goal in each. Here is Scott Pettit towards the near post, and Bitts was able to save. Scrambled off Bertos into Sonata, and it will be another Olympic corner kick. But it was a dangerous free kick from Pettit. It was low, it was awkward for the Broadmeadow Magic keeper. Here's Pettit again. This one, it was a near post, and Simon Mooney forces a superb save from Bitts. It was another header, sleight of head from Simon Mooney. He's just so strong in the air. You were talking about that before, CT.
But what he did well, he sort of ran about 5 yards towards the ball, jumped nice and early, great glance and head, but great save by Paul Bitts, wasn't it? Was that right height, but yeah.
He scored in his last 3 matches versus Magic here at Darling Street, Simon Mooney. Maybe that's the man they've been lacking. Here is McGuinness taking on the strike, and that one's gone over the fence, maybe. Not quite.
Been a very even start, hasn't it, CT? Been a little bit cagey from both sides, just sort of testing each other out.
Yeah, it has, and with this derby that we've got on our hands, neither team wants to give a goal away first. It's all about pride, as you know as well as anyone. I was saying the other day, you know, that not involved closely with the local football scene. Are the team's full of players that are from Macedonian background and Greek background, and said, no, not particularly at all, not generally the case, but their whole supporter bases are, aren't they? And they're made up with those communities.
Reese Pappas got right under it, and Scott Pettit could only find the bar. The post, I should say.
Yeah, superb ball by Reese Pappas. Back stick. Pettit probably had the sun in his eyes slightly when he went to head, but yeah, great. Another opportunity for Olympic. That's 2 in 2 minutes.
Olympic just gaining the upper hand here. Simon Mooney with that header, forcing the save out of Bitts, and now Pettit with a second chance in just a few minutes after that free kick. So after a really slow start to the season, Hamilton Olympic, where they won just once in their opening 6 matches, they've now won 4 straight. That's combined in the NPL and in the FFA Cup. Things are looking up for them. Magic, they've actually won 6 straight across all competitions. 4 straight in the NPL.
You talk about the M word, don't we? Momentum. And habits. You're getting the habit of winning and the habit of losing. And that's what Olympic were early in the stage. Habit of losing. They were losing games where they should have at least got something out of it.
A lot of 1-goal losses earlier in the season. Lost to Maitland and Edgeworth. They're basically throwing points away at one point. It's Cody Carroll. Spies James Virgili. Over on the far side, he decides he's going to take on Green. Virgili across the face. Carl Bradbury. Well, he shouldn't miss from there. That's unbelievable. That's gilt-edged for Carl Bradbury.
Yeah, you shouldn't miss those, and you know, key factor for all the young players is to get over the ball, make sure you hit the target. That's all you got to do is just hit the target. Seemed like he balked on that one a little bit, smudging. Just it's almost like one of those ones where you got too much time, isn't it? Yeah,
agree. And I think Cody Lucas was ball watching a little bit there. Bradbury sneaked around behind, Gase around behind him. So just need to be a little bit careful there, Cody Lucas. But yeah, Bradbury, he'd be disappointed in himself.
And it's not like he's a player that crumbles on the big stage. Carl Bradbury scored 4 goals in his last 5 matches against Olympic.
It did bounce quite awkwardly for him.
It did bounce awkwardly, but I felt similar to CT. It just hung there forever, and it looked as though he had an age to tap it home. And in the end, I think he had too long.
Yeah, well, let's not take away from the point that he got in position on the back stick by himself, you know, so he's well aware of where it's at. I think if he had that again, he wouldn't miss.
The problem is, will he get that chance again? You only get so many opportunities like that, and now Jared Sutherland has one down the other end for Hamilton Olympic. He's just hung on to possession for a little too long there. He's guilty of doing that. Jared Sutherland, you were going to say, Smudge?
I was about to say that, Bart. He's a very good player, but sometimes when he's playing wide, he holds the ball too long. When he plays centrally, great turn.
Well, here he is again. Threads the ball through. This is the moment for Olympic. Maybe not. Leo Bertos couldn't find his range.
That's why I like him playing century. He's got beautiful silky skills, really tight possession-based skills, has any CT, and he can turn on a dime. Sometimes out wide when he's got time and space, he holds the ball too long and probably has that extra touch.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Although, you know, his distribution there was just top-notch, wasn't it? Just slipped Bertos perfectly weighted ball.
That's why I like him playing more central, because that's what he did with Pettit last week and they scored a goal. So, but like you said, it's all about defensive duties as well.
Boys, good to see Graham Laws joined us today viewing. He's back in the country. He's viewing our game today. He's asking for a joke, but I probably might have to wait till the second half. Smudge.
Well, have Cooks Hill started winning again? I know they went through a rough patch when he was out of the country. So we see Simon Mooney just straying offside.
Yeah, I think Glenn Chapman left him with a win when Graham Law came back, and they've been sort of... I know they're on top of the table at the moment, so
well,
they're doing quite well.
That's nice of Glenn Chapman to leave Graham Law with at least one win.
At least one win, yeah.
So, of course, just the 4 matches in the NPL Northern New South Wales in round 10 this weekend. Western played the Jets a week and a half ago, and the Bears got the job done there. So just the one other match on. We had that match between Edgeworth and Edgeworth taking on Lake Macquarie yesterday. Lake Macquarie at home, and Edgeworth got the job done 2-0. Davies up the line. This afternoon, Magic, of course, up against Olympic, and Adamstown taking on Valentine, also a huge match, Lambton and
Great
Maitland.
Ball.
Here is Scott Pettit, rolling it wide to Sutherland. Trying to open up that left boot. Piddington was awake to the danger.
Again, another nice ball by McGuinness. He's sort of dictating play in there.
Blake Green's cross lets him down.
Talking about Sutherland before, then Smudge playing in the wide on the right there. But every time he's picked up the ball so far, he's headed towards central. He's headed centrally, and it doesn't look like he's the sort of player that's going to come out wide and whip the crosses in.
Like a Bertos.
Like a Bertos would, yeah. And that may cause some additional problems. If he starts running at people in the box and he's running at numbers with people running off him, that's where he's going to be dangerous.
So we see another free kick go the way of Olympic. CT, are you reading the comments on Facebook on our stream? Some interesting ones there, I must say.
Like what?
Well, Graham Law didn't actually ask for a joke. He asked me not to tell one.
Did he? Here's Jared Sutherland. I'll come back to that in just a sec, Smudge. And we see Olympic win the corner.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Graham Law. No jokes, CT, please. Short corner by Olympic.
See what they can come up with here. It doesn't go the way they intended. Here's Cody Lucas trying to pick out Pettit. Instead it falls for Pappas. Now Sutherland, he's had a lot of touches recently. That shot is not getting past Piddington. Now Fajkovic, and A battle with Tom Davies. I thought he was felled illegally, Davies, but play allowed to go on. Blake Green cuts it out.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Bart. I thought Fadjevic fouled him illegally.
And now Fadjevic and Blake Green go to ground. So letting a little go, James Clell.
Intensity's just starting to rise, and which is good. You know, one thing, CT, we spoke about last week when Lambton played Olympic, how the defences are really compact. Especially on a small pitch like this, I'd like to see either team have a big switch of play. Have the ball over one side, then a big switch of play. That's going to create space. It's going to create one-on-one opportunities for their wide player. And that's what you need to create goals.
Well, Vigili will do that at left fullback, at that left side when he's at that left fullback. And he loves to switch the ball, particularly out to his brother.
And Bradbury on this side, and you got Scott Pettit at Olympic, and also Sutherland on this side as well for Olympic. So there's elusive and skillful players either side. It'll be good to get the ball to them nice and quick, and even on a switch of play when they're going to be one-on-one with the fullback.
Well, that's right, and it's got to be when all the plays over the other side, for example.
So here's Hoole. He looked as though he overhit it, but in the end it falls for Shane Paul, who goes on a mazy run and goes close to winning a penalty. He will just get the corner in the end. He did well there, Shane Paul, to keep his feet through traffic.
Yeah, it looked like he was nudged a little bit, but not nudged enough to...
Yeah,
Are you wearing red glasses, Smudge?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, it looked like he was slightly...
No,
but I wouldn't have gave a pen either.
No, I wouldn't have either. And he did clearly had a think. You could see he had a good look before he made his decision, and I think he got it right.
So now Magic opt for the short corner, and Cody Carroll, nice shape, and dinks it in, but straight onto the head of Pappas, and Scott Pettit almost gets there first. Here's Sonata back to Carroll. Former Jets youth man Cody Carroll. Look at the throw. Broadmeadow Magic. And as you said, Smudge, the tension just
Picking
rising ever so slightly. Shane Paul quickly to Bradbury.
Boys just quickly around the ground. Adamstown 2, Valentine 1.
Just noticed with Bertos the level of energy he's been putting into this first period of the game here. He's been out of the box. Literally, he's been really putting it in every tackle, every run. He's done it with extreme purpose.
Yeah, he had a few weeks off, and I told him McGuinness after the game last week. He was a little bit underdone, Bertos, so that game last week probably just gets him going again.
Yep.
He scored midweek in the FFA Cup against Western, Leo Bertos. He's had an illustrious career. Here's Sonata. Towards the middle of the box. It's pinball for the moment, and James Vigili almost placed it in the top corner. From this angle, it was very close. He loves playing against Olympic here at Darling Street. James Vigili's scored in all matches here since returning to the NPL at the start of the 2016 season.
I've just got my Magic hat on here again. Magic's really pushing on, forcing their fullbacks and also goalkeeper to actually play it long. If I was Magic, I'd probably sit back a little bit, allow Olympic to play out from the back, because they've been caught quite a few times this year playing out the back and then press once it gets to a corner, or even playing through the centre, and then you can get them.
I was just about to say they almost gave it away there. Kyle Hodges very nearly straight to Vigili. They got away with it, but just as you were talking about that exact point, Smudge, I think it's a good one.
Yeah, because like Fadjevic in the front three are actually pushing right on, forcing him to play it long. Therefore, the ball's over, then the pressure's back on Magic. So I'd probably stand off about 10, 15 yards, allow him to come out a little bit, allow him to play a little bit, and then try and force that turnover and then break.
Yeah, it's a particularly good ploy if you know you're playing against a team that want to play out, and Olympic are definitely in that vein. See what, Smudge, there's some sort of crowd in here today. These stands are absolutely chock-a-block.
Oh, it's a beautiful autumn day.
It's always a great atmosphere here at Darling Street, regardless of who Olympic are taking on. But these days. Better than most, always, when you've got both sets of fans here from Magic and Olympic. Here's Vigili, picks out Bradbury. Just was facing away from goal. Here's Paul across the face, but there was no one there. Reese Pappas was the only man there to clear it away. Luke Vigili backtracks and releases Bradbury. He's in a foot race with Davies. Just keeps it inside the byline. Here's Paul.
He's been good this year, Tom Davies, hasn't he, CT?
He has, and he's been showing really good form in recent weeks.
He's playing his 80th match for Hamilton Olympic this afternoon, Tom Davies. Came to Olympic as a 16-year-old. He's a veteran, even at his young age, in the blue of Hamilton Olympic. A mainstay in the defence under Michael Bolch and now Pete McInnes. Here's Vigili. And Kyle Hodges at the back, cutting it out.
Justin Brawley just ran into Vigili's track then. I think Justin Brawley should have stayed wide, allowed Vigili one-on-one with Blake Green. But Brawley sort of just ran into his hole and he had to come inside, which was where all the men were.
I saw that run that he made from deep. He had a bit of a barking from his coach. He went and won the ball, and then he was committed to his run, and he just got on with it and didn't actually.
Well, here's Vigili, one-on-one with Warren. Is he going to win a penalty? It's going to be a free kick outside the box. I'd love to have a second look at that. Tyler Warren goes into the book for a yellow card. Magic fans are saying Tyler Warren was outside the box and he handballed it, which means, of course, that's the decision which has been made. He's handled the ball outside the box, which means a free kick.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a foul at first glimpse, but we'll need to look at the replay. We haven't got it in front of us.
Well, the question is it a red card for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity?
Well, that's if it is a clear goal scoring opportunity, but that's debatable.
But if you're making a footballing challenge, you cannot, of course, be sent off as part of the double jeopardy laws. I don't think Vigili's shot was on target from that replay. So I think a yellow card. Well, it is going to be a penalty. It's definitely going to be a penalty. From how it originally had the decision, it seemed like it was going to be a free kick, but it is a penalty.
Yeah,
so James Vigili, who since 2016 has always scored at Darling Street, and that will continue. Broadmeadow Magic hit the front early on. 1-0 to the visitors. An important goal, that one, for the men in red, because Olympic have had the best chances up until this point.
Yeah, tend to agree. I think, but even so, when you look at where that ball came from, Olympic playing out from the back, they played it through the centre, Magic pinched it, quick transition, straight over for Vigili, then they were on. But look, I haven't seen the replay, but at first glimpse, to me, it didn't look overly like a pen, but...
Yeah, again, I haven't seen it either, but it didn't look like a pen to me either, unless Tyler Warren was outside his box when he touched it. But look,
well,
just on normal view, it didn't appear to be.
Well, originally I thought Claire was holding a free kick, because usually when you award a penalty, you point downwards. I felt he was sort of pointing up a little more as if it was a free kick. I don't know what you guys thought. What was your original thought? I was very confused by the whole thing.
Well, obviously he gave a penalty because it was last man and he fouled Vigili, but like I said, from first glimpse,
But if Tyler Warren's handled the ball outside the box, that can't be a penalty then.
No, it's outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. So he's saying that it was a foul.
Yes,
the arm across the throat or the chest of Vigili, which took him down.
It'd be good to see the replay.
Either way, it's 1-0.
Here is Scott Pettit looking for the instant reply. They're not going to get it on this occasion. Shane Paul, wide to Vigili. He has acres of space, but he looks for his teammate and fellow flyer, Cale Bradbury. His pass let him down, though. So already some early drama in this one. Magic with the advantage. Just around the grounds, Maitland and Lambton still at 0-0, and Adamstown lead Valentine 2-1 at the CB complex. And Valentine. Here's Bradbury. And Smudge, it's going to be difficult now for Olympic. They're up against the best defensive side in the competition. Magic are the only side now to have conceded a single figure number of goals this year. They've conceded just 9, the only side left in that category.
Yeah, that's right. But also Hamilton scoring 2 a game. So, you know, they're still in with a chance. There's a long way to go. And they've had a few opportunities as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They have. And I think statistics will be the last thing on their minds, Olympic.
Here's Shane Paul. Now Sutherland. Let that run on. And now Simon Mooney and Shane Paul. Jake McGuinness quickly across. Interesting, we're looking at best defensive records across the competition over the last 18 years. Magic with the best defence in the comp at the moment and sitting 3rd. So Smudge was asking me to check which sides have won the premiership and also had the best defence. Interestingly, as we see this free kick go the way of Magic, last year's Edgeworth side, who had the best defence of the comp, that was the first year since 2011 that the side with the best defence won the premiership. Fascinating stuff. Here's Cody Lucas, and he's done well there. So how do you explain that, Smudge?
Well, the other stat I'd like to see is this goals scored by the premiership winning team. Is that consistent? So the team who wins the comp, do they score the most goals?
Well, you've either got one or the other. Most goals or best defence. It's very rare to have neither. There's Cody Carroll. So inside the final quarter hour of this first half. And both sides with some chances. Olympic probably with the better of them. And it's Magic who lead via the penalty spot. And Simon Mooney released. And he gets a little tug from Matt Houle. Potentially, James Clill waves it away. Nothing in it, boys.
Yeah, that was a tough one as well. Mooney ran across Hoole's path, so he sort of moved him out the road. But Hoole's a little bit lucky there. What do you thought, CT?
Yeah, exactly. It looked like he was in front of him, as in Mooney was in front, and he was brought down, is what it looked like.
Look at this run from Sutherland. Plays it wide. Cody Lucas and Arda. Johnny on the spot to clear it away.
Sutherland was in a great position to drag the ball inside where Pennington, he had one-on-one with Pennington. If he dragged him inside, then shot, he would have been one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
It's one or the other, isn't it? Because he gets the ball played in, which ends up with the ball on the deck inside the box, which could be a tap-in, you know, on other deliveries. So
great tackle there from Jake McGuinness, but and Mooney was in a bit of a tangle with Sonata, so he couldn't move forward to collect the pass. Here's Fajkovic. And now Bradbury. Space ahead for Cal Bradbury. Warren with the save. A little bit of a bobble, but he got there.
Just noticed Fajkovic and Bradbury sort of switched places a few times. Fajkovic's gone out wide and Bradbury's moved to the number 9. I like how they rotate their front 3. And just quickly around the grounds at Windy Hill at Maitland, it's Lambton 1. Maitland 0.
It's a big goal for Lambton because we're talking during the week, Smudge, that if Maitland win that, Lambton have got a sizable gap. Is it 7 points back to the top 4?
Yeah, something like that. Lambton's got a very good squad. They've probably got one of the best squads in the league, so I'd never write Lambton off. But it's important that they don't lose today. Otherwise, that gap just widens, doesn't it?
Sonata rolling one up the line. Now we've just had goal scorer from that game at Adamstown. Luke Valone has scored again. Now he's He started the season at Hamilton Olympic. He's gone to Adamstown, scored 2 goals in 2 matches. How impressive is that? Here's Cody Carroll across the top of the Olympic defence, and he was just offside, Cal Bradbury. It's a near thing.
That's when Magic are dangerous, when they play the ball quick.
What about this ball from Pappas, just over hit? Maybe on a bigger ground, Jared Sutherland would have had a bit more acreage to run onto it, but not at Darling Straight.
Yeah, just back on my point, when you've got the pace of Bradbury, Vakovic and Vigili, you want the ball forward, trying to play him in the space behind the back 4 of Olympic. They've got pace to burn and they're hard to track. And they're all goal scorers as well.
Here's Hoole. Kyle Hodges using his experience there.
That's especially smudge if Olympic are going to sit nice and high, which they did all of last week as well. And if they do that, they just got to be careful that Magic don't slip in behind, as you say.
And Olympic will have confidence from this position. Last week, they fought back against Lambton. They were down in that match 1-0 and they won 2-1. And then even against Lake Macquarie, they were down 1-0 and 2-1. They came back to win that 4-3. And previously against Maitland, they were down in that one 2-0, fought back to get to 2-2 and then conceded a late one. So they know how to come from behind. I know Pete McGuinness probably prefer if it wasn't the case, but they have the ability, they have the resilience to bounce back, Hamilton Olympic.
And more important, they've had a few chances as well to strike back or even take the lead initially. So this game's... Ooh. You could see that happening there.
He scuffed the clearance, and now Vigili. Well, he did, getting a little clip from McGuinness, and he's having a bit of a chat to him as well. I don't know if there was too much in it. I thought it was very intelligent from Luke Vigili. He was in a tight situation. 3 blue shirts around him. Important to get the free kick.
Well, he didn't really have any other choice. He had to just get himself out of danger. He did that and caught a half clip and then
now he's
went
going
over.
He's going to have a chat to James Clell now. Just went on with a little bit too much.
Do you think he's asking James Clell if he got any spare honey in his bag today, like you did, CT? You got honey off James Clell today. Can you explain that?
Well, he did mention that he was making honey, his own honey. Love honey. He mentioned that to him and one turned up. Fancy that.
And just on the referee front, we just found out prior to kick-off that Ryan Gallagher got engaged on the weekend in Hawaii.
Is that right?
Congratulations. Here is James Vigili. Well, if he had scored a cracker there, Smudge, I'd say all of those who watch Bar TV would have known about that, because that little clip about you talking about Ryan Gallagher would have got on the highlights rail for goals of the week. So it's a nice placement. What's his wife's name, Smudge?
Lauren, mate, I've met him many times because obviously Ryan works with me at the hospital.
So you'd know her name well then? You didn't have to consult anyone for that?
Gee, your head's gone the same colour as your microphone, Smudge. It's like a fluoro red.
Oh.
Sorry, bud. I'll sing to something else when you ask me the question. So
Here's Piddington. That's all right. I forget your name all the time, so.
just on this bar, just as I was coming up to pick up the mic prior to the game, one of our fans on Bar TV, Lil Harry's probably an 8-year-old boy just down the front, just saying he watches Bar TV all the time. He's here to watch an Olympic play Magic today. His prediction's 2-1 to Olympic. So, but yeah, we thought we'd give him a big shout out because he watches Bar TV. He'll go home and watch all the games on Bar TV tonight. So, good on you, Harry. However, he was going for Olympic, but he had Broadmeadow's colours on. That's the...
Well, his prediction's spot on at the moment. Magic have got a goal, so all he needs is a couple more from Olympic, and he'll be right on the money. Here's Sonata. So it really has been a chess battle the last few minutes. Neither side able to wedge an opening. Simon Mooney gets cleaned up and Luke Vigili will go into the book.
Yeah, them two are old teammates. Oh, that's a great ball by Bertos. Played into Pettit one-on-one with the goalkeeper, being pulled back. Took it illegally.
So Reese Pappas standing over it, scored that scorching free kick in that round 3 match against Valentine, the 2-2 draw. His only strike of the season. Does have the ball on a string. Here's McGuinness. Now Sutherland. A quick turn. Jared Sutherland still going. Nice slide of foot, and Bertos has an air swing just at the crucial moment. Wished he had his time over again. The A-League veteran of 127 matches with Wellington Phoenix, also about 30 Perth Glory.
Just on there, McGuinness, the ball went back to McGuinness. If he crossed that straight away, it was 3v2 v Olympic in the box, but he just had too many touches. He just held it too long. If he whipped it straight in, there was 3 Olympic players versus 2 Magic players in the box. It would have been very interesting.
So since the goal for James Virgili from the penalty spot, the chances have really dried up for Olympic. Can either of you two explain why? Maybe Magic just sitting a little tighter, more compact, maybe deeper.
Well, both the opportunities so far have sort of come from set pieces, so from Olympics. So I don't know. I think Magic defensive structure is quite intact at the moment. He's got Shane Paul in one of his runs.
And now Fajkovic, and now Justin Broadley. Well blocked by the Olympic defence. He scored a lovely goal last week. Justin Broadley, here's a card coming out for Matt Houle.
Big opportunity there for Broadley. He had a clean strike at goal.
He took it well, didn't he?
He hit it well, but he's hit it straight into a defender. And
well, you saw the strike last week, CT. That was impressive, wasn't it? From Broadley.
Yes, he's a good quality footballer.
Just
and works hard.
Yeah, just on Shane Paul. That's where you like to see Shane Paul running in and out, in between defenders. Blake Green.
Here he is into the middle. Can Mooney quickly turn it? Falls for Scott Pettit. Well blocked by Piddington.
This is where I like to see Bradbury really wide.
Now Fajkovic, well, he held it up perfectly. And now Virgili probably went a little too early. I know you want to get it in first time there. And in the end, quality just lacking. He looked for Carl Bradbury. Now Blake Green. Look at this space down the left flank. He just launches one. And Simon Mooney will track it down. He's got Bertos with him.
A bit slow here, Magic.
They are very slow, Smudge, and this one straight to Paul Bitts. Made it a little easier than what it may have been in the end.
Yeah, Magic very slow to get across, weren't they?
It was very nonchalant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So ticking down towards half-time. Wouldn't be long now. Luke Virgili. And Fajkovic is offside. Despite the cries of Zadkovic to say that he was on.
Yeah, I'd like to see Fajkovic probably step forward towards the ball 2 or 3, then take off. In beyond the back 4. Playing a high line, Olympic just need to be a little bit careful there with the pace of the front 3 Magic.
Yeah, it's a nice ball from Cody Lucas. That ball was travelling. Just dinked it off to Bertos. Now Pappas across to Blake Green. In his second stint at Hamilton. Was at Lakes last season. And that will do us for the opening 45 minutes in the derby at Darling Street. And after having a majority of the early chances, Hamilton Olympic couldn't find the back of the net. And Broadmeadow Magic made them pay from the penalty spot after James Virgili broke free, was brought down by Tyler Warren. And he finished off once again at Darling Street since his return to the NPL in 2016. James Virgili has scored in all matches here in the NPL. So half-time here at the home of Hamilton Olympic. It's Hamilton 0, Broadmeadow Magic 1. CT, your thoughts on that opening 45 of action?
Look, although Broadmeadow are up 1-0, I can see there's going to be a bigger second half, bigger than one that we've just had. That first 20 minutes in particular, both sides just very much, Smudge, we were talking about it before, they just almost nullified each out because of how quick and how high the tempo was. As the game settled in and a few more opportunities started to open up, players starting to run in the box like Shane Paul and Sutherland for Olympic, those types of the runs are the ones being the most damage.
Yeah, totally agree. I think for Magic, I think they need to transition a little bit quicker. When they transition quick, try and make forward runs beyond the back four. They look very dangerous. That's how they got the goal. For Olympic, I think, Sutherland's been very good on the ball. Coming inside, playing a few 1-2 with Burdos and Mooney. Also Mooney making the runs off Vigili and Pennington at the back. That could be very dangerous. So as long as they get the ball played forward nice and quick, I think they're in with a chance.
And Peter McGuinness may well be going in at half-time saying, we spoke about Sutherland playing in that wide position this week as opposed to inside where Burtos is. His runs cutting inside are damaging, and they're the ones that are causing Broadmeadow some problems defensively. So, look, there'll be probably some more of that in him in the second half. I'm expecting a very tight one, but who knows from here. It's been a good first half, and I'm expecting more of the same in the second.
All right, we'll take a 10-minute break, and we'll be back with all the second half action shortly. Welcome back to Darling Street. Hamilton Olympic at home, and they've got a deficit to rein in this second half. They're running from right to left of screen. Nice warm afternoon, nice warm autumn afternoon in the Hunter. And here's Simon Mooney getting us back underway in the second half. Smudge, can you see a route back for Hamilton Olympic in the second half?
Yeah, I definitely can. I think that what they need to do is probably push on a little bit more when the Magic's trying to play out from the back. Probably try and squeeze it, try and pinch it up the pitch, and then go. And also, I like to see their transition a little bit quicker as well. But that's where they have to be careful that they don't get caught at the back. The other thing is when they're playing a high line Olympic, so there's a lot of space in beyond. For example, right now.
Well, here's Dino Fadcevic, yet to score this year, looking to break his drought. Plays it back, Cal Bradbury! And that could be a hammer blow. Right after half-time, Cal Bradbury scores. That's his 7th of the season. He goes level with James Vigili at the top of the Golden Boot count.
I'll go back to my point in a sec, but what a great finish by, what great combination between Fadcevic and Bradbury, and what a finish by Bradbury. Just sized it up, picked his spot, and finished it well, hey CT.
Yeah, absolutely, and he made no mistake whatsoever. Terrific finish.
Just going back to my point, but like I said, Olympic playing a high line, playing balls over the top, turning them around, they've got pace, and it's causing a lot of problems. It's caused 2 goals now, Vigili's penalty, and that goal there. I was about to say if I was Guinean, I probably wouldn't play as a high line as what they've been playing, because that's when Magic's been quite threatening.
Well, a goal at that time of the match is really, really hard to take for Olympic, because it's the last thing they would want. They want to come out and score the next one, obviously, but to concede that early.
Yeah, that's important. That's what was so critical straight after half-time. So that makes it Cal Bradbury 7 goals, James Vigili 7 goals, Sam Walker also with 7 this year, along with Scott Smith. So 4 men at the top of that Golden Boot leaderboard at the moment. It's pretty tight. The 2 Magic men there, they've been dominant this year. Here is Cody Carroll looping one up and over the top. Tyler Warren with the hat on in the second half.
So the thing last week when Olympic played Lambton didn't have the pace of like the Bradburys, the Fadcevics and the Vigilis. So they could squeeze and really compact the space, and they played their back four a little bit more staggered so they could easily sweep each other. Where today, the pace of Vigili, Fadcevic and Bradbury's causing problems because there's space in beyond, and Magic's moving the ball quicker and transitioning a lot quicker from defence to attack. Just around the grounds, boys, Lambton's up 3-0 at Maitland.
They're turning on a good performance up at Windy Hill.
Well, the 3 of us did not pick that one. We picked a Maitland victory. There's plenty of time. It's only half-time. However, it's a big lead to be holding up there away from home.
Mate, I picked a draw.
And Michael Bulch actually said this week his side's only playing at 70% capacity under what they're playing at this afternoon. Not quite as accurate as maybe Graham Arnold during the year in the A-League, as we see this free kick go the way of Hamilton Olympic. I think I remember Graham Arnold said that Sydney FC were playing at 43% or 43.3%.
Yeah, but that's Arnie for you. He loves to stir the media.
And I love that from Bulch as well. Only at 70%. Stir on the pot, it's always great. As here's Reese Pappas. Kyle Hodges rolling it along the ground to Blake Green. He's got pace. He's got enough to get away from Vigili. And now Piddington. And Hamilton's issue this season, it has continued again this afternoon, is defensively. They've only kept 1 clean sheet this year. That's their concern. They've conceded 19 goals this season in this now their 9th match, so almost 2 or more than 2 a game. Well, they have scored at 2 goals a game coming into this one. You just can't concede that many and be expecting to win a lot of your matches. Here is Sutherland. Couldn't pick out Pettit. Well, he did pick him out, but the ball over the byline. All bits. Now Hodges bring it back in. Could you guys pinpoint exactly what issues Hamilton are having at the back? Is it that pace that you were talking about this afternoon, Smudge? Is that where they're lacking? Maybe playing at a high line and getting found out. Up and over the top, we saw that happen with Vigili for the opening goal.
And the second goal with Fajovic, they played the ball long, like 50-yard pass over the top. Fajovic is free. He cuts back, turns around, gives it to Bradbury, who slots it home. And they've had a few chances like that, Magic. I think also there needs to be a bit more pressure on the ball in the midfield, so the pass, they don't allow that pass to happen. Mooney's working very hard up front as a number 9, trying to shut down the back three. Because there's a back three, it's 3v1, so I think McGuinness needs to push one of their midfielders on a little bit to put a bit more pressure on their back three playing out from the back, because they just seem to have a bit more time on the ball.
Do they need a bit more muscle in the midfield? Jacob Bailey's back.
Yeah, he'd be a handy one to bring on, CT.
Well, Bailey's the sort of player that loves these sort of games.
Here's Cody Carroll. I've got a stat involving Jacob Bailey. As Cody Carroll goes to ground. It was theatrical. So a couple of weeks ago, Jacob Bailey was on the bench against Maitland. They were down 2-0 in that match. He came on in the 63rd minute, and within 12 minutes it was 2-2. Now, I don't know if we can put it all down to Jacob Bailey, but surely that's had an influence, that substitution.
If you're Jacob Bailey, you put it down to Jacob Bailey. But he's a good man to come in off the bench on a game like today, because he'll come in fresh and he'll come in strong. So if they do need some extra muscle in there, he's the man to do it.
Here's Cody Carroll, 2 goals this year for Magic, both from free kicks there in the NPL. He doesn't go for goal, tries to dink it up towards the head of Bradbury and Vigili. Piddington also there, couldn't do so, and now Leo Bertos released down the right flank.
Tyler Warren has picked him out beautifully.
Yeah, beautiful pass, wasn't it?
So it's been the away side who has won the last 3 derbies between these two, and all 3 have been decided by the scoreline 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's very important Olympic don't lose their shape or lose their their formation, or their, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Their drive and
that's right.
Their willingness to get on with the job and stay in the match. They can't let that drop off, Smudge.
And also their patterns of play and their tactics for today. There's still 35 minutes to go. There's a long way to go. You can get another goal, and then they're back in it.
That's all they need, isn't it? Just that goal and the lift you get from scoring. It's immense.
And then it's the immediate effect on the team who just conceded a goal, the drop they get. Because at the moment, Magic just a little bit comfortable on that 2-0 lead, but a long way to go.
Magic bench getting ready, going for a warm-up jog. Not included in that run is John Majorowski. You'd sense if the score remains the same, he won't come on. They won't risk him.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a troublesome ankle injury at the moment. He missed the midweek game against Thornton, the FFA Cup game. So, yeah, I'd say they'd rest him if they wouldn't want to use him if they don't need to, I'd say.
And hopefully we'll get some FFA Cup action on Bar TV in the coming weeks with that round 6 and round 7 matches to decide who goes to the round of 32. There's some big sides in that. Magic, Olympic, Lambton, Edgeworth. Lick your lips, there should be some ripping contests. The draw tomorrow. Here's Jared Sutherland, dinking it up. Here's Simon Mooney. He stands tall again on the big stage, Simon Mooney. Loves playing against Broadmeadow Magic. They missed him last year. He scores again when they really needed it. 2-1.
And just when we've been talking about Sutherland dribbling everything in towards the inside, Smudge, he's gone the outside. No real option other than cross, but he picked out Mooney beautifully. And I'll tell you what, Simon Mooney did not take his eye off that ball, put himself horizontal and put it away. Beautiful.
And what he did. He just stepped off the back foot a little bit, give himself some space, collected it beautifully. And how many goals is that now, Bart?
That's 6 goals for the season for Simon Mooney, but that is a goal in his last 4 matches here at Darling Street. The last 4 matches between these two at Darling Street, he has scored in, just like James Virgili. It's just incredible. And these players just consistently scoring in matches between Magic and Olympic.
And that's what we spoke about before about Olympic, just stay in the game because anything could happen. They get a goal back, then it changes the momentum of the game. Now they're in for a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. It does change momentum. And the other thing is here with Sutherland, we spoke about last week, his involvement in that goal was one that everyone, and I think including himself, thought he was going to shoot. He didn't. Ended up laying the pass. This time, instead of coming inside like he's done all game, he's gone outside and crossed. So good, excellent variation from him. But as you say, we're back on now. And Olympic with some additional spring in their step.
Of course, you'd remember, as here we go, here comes Jacob Bailey. And it will be, is it going to be Leo Bertos? Maybe Jared Sutherland? Will be neither. Will be Cody Lucas making way. Just the second time he's been substituted off this season.
So just looking for this quick change. Looks like they've Cody Lucas at right fullback's come off. They've tried to put a bit more pace over on the left, on the far side against Bradbury. Tommy Davies is up against Bradbury. A like for like, pace for pace. Pappas has moved back in the back line with Kyle Hodges. Jacob Bailey's moved in the centre of the park, to anchor the centre of the park, allowing Burdos to come out here on his more favoured wide left sort of role.
And the comeback for Hamilton Olympic, it's well and truly on again. It's in these situations that are so good this year.
Yeah, sorry.
Here's James Virgili. Well, he could try and douse that flame almost immediately. Couldn't do so.
That's an excellent tackle.
And just as we spoke, Sutherland's moved in the number 10 role, CT, which I love him in there. He's very creative, very elusive.
Matt Hull tries to pick out Bradbury. Tom Davies awake to the danger.
I think that's a very good move by McGuinness. He's moved Pappas back to in the centre-back role. He's put pace out wide at right full-back at Tom Davies to nullify Bradbury. He's brought in Sutherland, more creative in the middle of the park, and brought Leo Burdos, where he's dynamite on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and the other thing is, where it appeared they were playing a very pressing type game of football in that first 20 minutes, the game's not that anymore. The sting's out of it. So now Sutherland will get a bit more time to run at them like he did last week. So you're right, McGuinness spot on here. I like the way he's thought about it.
I think you two will both remember back in 2016, Simon Mooney scored the goal, which got Magic back in that second leg. Got Olympic back in the second leg against Magic. He's done it again here. Here is Dino Fajkovic. Rides a couple of challenges, and Tyler Warren keeps Olympic in the match and Magic at bay.
Yeah, he did very well there, Fajkovic, didn't he? Beat 2 Olympic players.
Well, Simon Mooney's just barreled over Sonata in back plate. And hasn't been spotted by the officials, or has it? Yes, it has. James Clearly's got eyes in the back of his head.
Some big scores in the lower grades, Bart, wasn't there?
It was a great day if you're an Olympic fan up to this point. They won 10-1 in the 18s. Yes, it was 10-1.
And Magic were winning 1-0.
Magic winning 1-0, and Olympic won 2-1 in the 20s. Matt Hull just trying to wait it. So James Virgili, he was riding it all the way. Just overhit in the end. Here's Blake Green.
See that ball from Blake Green? That was a very good ball. If Mooney read that earlier, he was away. If he made that forward run as he went to play it in, that was a beautifully clipped ball just over Pennington's head.
Yeah, of course, his former coach from Lake Macquarie now at Magic. And here is Magic pushing forward. Virgili on the double. James Virgili out of nothing. Broadmeadow are back in front by 2. And James Virgili goes clear in the Golden Boot race now. 8 goals for the season for him.
So 2 things here. Great early ball into Fajovic. Well held up by Fajovic. Great little ball into Virgili. But Virgili's run, he held it, then ran, busted his butt, past the back 4, and what a finish. Great finish. 1-on-1 with Tyler Warren. That's where Magic's very dangerous, making them forward runs beyond the back 4, and that's how they've scored 3 goals today.
Remember, he hadn't scored since round 4 before this match. So it just shows you how many goals he racked up in the opening round. Scored
4 in the first game.
Yeah, 4 against Lakes in round 1. And then he was been a bit quiet since round 4, as we mentioned. All of a sudden, here come Olympic. Scott Pettit against his former club. And now Olympic peg one back. You just can't take your eyes off this one. 3-2. Ruben Zakovic. He laid down to his troops what he wanted there. And they've scored immediately, Olympic, and his reaction said it all.
As the kickoff went, you could hear Ruben say, boys, let's stay compact, let's stay compact. They're a bit spread. Their back 4 were a bit spread. Back 3, a great quick ball by Olympic, and Pettit was off, and Magic fallen asleep. And what a great finish by Pettit against his old club.
Yeah, and they did. It looked like they fell asleep. You heard Zadkovic absolutely going on about just that, Smudge. And not only that, you picked on the back line there. Absolutely. If you go and have another look at that, you see they weren't just switched on, ready to go.
So that's 4 goals in his last 4, Scott Pettit.
And they weren't compact, which Zakovic was saying. Stay compact, stay compact. Here they go again.
Sutherland. This is what you're talking about, Smudge. So creative in the front third. The youngster. There's an offside, either Mooney or Leo Burtos.
So you hear the Magic crowds clapping there. I think they all thought Scotty Pettit was offside, but from here, we haven't seen replays, but from here it looked onside.
Yeah, so after he went 4 matches to start the year, Scott Pettit, without a goal, he scored 4 in 4 now, which is exactly the run he went on at Magic last year, towards the back end of the season.
Boys just at Windy Hill. Maitland got 1 back, so it's Lambton 3, Maitland 1. Braden Crowley with 2, Ryan Griffiths with 1.
And Adamstown still leading 2-1. Well, here's Magic again through Cal Bradbury, spinning around like a top. Kyle Hodges. And now to Pappas. Scott Pettit waves his way infield. And gives away the free kick. Well, Smudge and CT, we've had some classic derbies. Well, actually, Scott Pettit's going into the book for a yellow card. We've had some classic derbies over the years, and this one, well, it's heading that way. 3-2 at the moment, end-to-end, topsy-turvy.
Yeah, absolutely, Bart. And the thing is, it's just a matter of whether Magic can get another goal. If they do, the game's probably close to over at this point. However, Olympic are right in it.
So Sonata trying to find Piddington. Here's Cal Bradbury. Was he offside? Or
I think he reeled it offside.
Yeah, that's
Flag
right.
was up nice and early.
Had that have gone in, as I was saying, that would really have just taken the sting right out of this match. And as it stands right now, it's all hands on deck.
It's on a knife's edge.
And we've still got 25 to play.
Well, it hasn't disappointed at all. They rarely disappoint matches between these two. Matt Hoole, the long throw. Jacob Bailey intercepts. He looks to send Simon Mooney on his way. He doesn't, but there is some space for Olympic. They may have a 4-on-3 here, but Magic retreating. Piddington with a header away.
Look at the numbers forward for Olympic in there. It's 5 and 6 players on that attacking movement.
Yeah, I love it when they transition quick, don't they? Sometimes their build-up's a bit too slow, but when they transition quick from defence to attack, when they do it quick, they look very good.
And it's hard to defend against. That's the thing. When you've got, as a defender, and you've got players running at you at speed in numbers, it's very, very difficult because you don't even know which way to look sometimes.
Justin Broadley holding up the ball. Here's a little bit of push and shove between Broadley and Bailey. He brings that mongrel, doesn't he? Jacob Bailey
I think the only thing missing about this game is a decent joke, CT. Like I know I'm not going to get one out of you.
It hasn't been time to even think about one, Smudge, to be honest.
Oh, it has been so frantic, CT, but I'm sure you can come up with one. Here's Reece Pappas in that new role in the centre of defence. Gee, he can pick a pass, can't he? Well, Smudge, you did me as well. Just overhit, but I must say he can pick a pass, Reece Pappas. Very unlucky not to play A-League with the Mariners. Spent some time on the bench as 18th man. They're allowing play to go on. James Cleal and Bradbury gets bundled over by Kyle Hodges. The whistle does go this time.
You know what? If Bradbury had his time again, I thought he held it just a tad too long. Vigili was on there. If he played it probably about 2 or 3 seconds, or about 2 seconds earlier, Vigili was he was on.
We were the perfect angle to see it from where we sit, and there was a big hole in there, and he could have hit him. Just held it just that moment.
So why was that hole not closed down? Because it seemed like there was just a gaping hole, and Olympic were refusing to close it down.
Well, Kyle Hodges was out. Kyle Hodges was out of his line trying to defend Bradbury. So he already got past 2 midfield players. So therefore, Kyle Hodges coming out of his line opens up like the Red Sea.
Here it is, Cody Carroll. Now this is more within his range. It's a big stage for him. The pressure's on here, and Cody Carroll couldn't quite find the top corner with that one, like he has on a couple of occasions so far in 2018. Here's Bertos. Now Carroll. That in the NPL. Carroll, he scored in the FFA Cup as well for Magic. And Matt Hoole. Leave it for Sonata. Looks over towards Fajkovic, I should say. 2 number 11s. Petterton, Fajkovic there, and Hodges goes back to Tyler Warren. You just get a chance to take a bit of a breath. Neat ball from Green. McGuinness. Now Carroll. Step past Bertos, and his pass is straight to Mooney, and now Jacob Bailey. Bring it under his control. He almost cleaned up Paul. And now Bradbury is away. Tyler Warren, he was swift. And he did well to bring it under his clutches before Bradbury got there.
He had to be very careful with his hands, did Tyler Warren. He did absolutely perfectly.
So Scott Pettit already with one this afternoon. For Mooney, who has clipped Piddington.
Mooney and Pennington having a great little battle in there, aren't they, CT? They're good mates. They played together many years ago at Broadmeadow, and they're having a great little battle.
They are, and they're both tough as they come. So, you know, there's no love lost on the park, but off it. The boys, you were saying about a joke before.
We said we didn't want to hear a joke, otherwise it's going to spoil the game.
Well, it's not really. I was talking to a mate of mine. He said,
"You got it, mate."
Well, one wasn't you. He said he'd split up with his missus. And she said, I had to split up with you because you're a football tragic. And he said, I couldn't believe it. We're only in our 4th season. Smudge.
Anthony Richards' wife thinks it's hilarious. I think it's terrible.
Now, CT, while you were trying to come up with that joke, I actually just checked my Facebook Messenger, and Reece Cooper has actually sent you a photo as well. This is what he's doing in Spain right now. He's actually watching Bar TV. So I hope you're enjoying it, Reece, and I hope you enjoyed that joke as well.
Dedicate that one to Reece Cooper.
So here's Jake McGuinness, and Broadley, the 2 4s. Here's Bertos now. It's a merry-go-round between him and Broadley, and then Fajkovic's in there, and Bailey. It's all happening.
And just on Reece Cooper, we'll see him back next week, CT. He'll be a great addition coming into the Olympic squad. He's a great player, one of the best in the league.
They've got Western next week, away from home. We're actually heading to Western in a couple of weeks' time, boys. Looking forward to that. For the derby against Maitland. Here's Mooney, back to Bailey. And they find an equaliser here. And Mooney and Luke Vigili this time. Mooney not impressed. just was going to check, CT, what the time is in Spain currently. What the time is in Spain currently. So it's about, let me check.
Is Reese over there for Harry's
It's about
and
8.
Megan's wedding, was he? Is that why he's over there?
That's not in Spain.
Oh, it's in Europe.
It's a little bit away. Yeah, it's about 8 a.m. there, so perfect timing. Pettit rolls one and dinked over the top. Bertos just couldn't quite arch the back to get on the end of it. Now Sutherland out-muscled by Fajkovic, who, I should say Houle, who then out-muscles McGuinness. There's Tino Fajkovic. The temperature is reaching boiling point here now.
Game's starting to really open up, isn't it, CT?
Scott Pettit. Away from Shane Paul. Paul's able to clear it up the line, and now Bradbury, very open now. Space ahead of him. Tries to release Vigili, just overhit.
Yeah, Vigili needed that in his feet. Then he's one-on-one with Blake Green. That's what you want, Vigili.
Now McGuinness got himself into a real pickle there. They're going to play advantage.
This is now where you look at the game now, Smudge, to where it was in the first 10, 20 minutes. It's completely different looking. And the changes that McGuinness have made are the ones that, this is what he's had in mind, this part of the game, and this is what he's been thinking about with those changes. With Bailey, Bertos, Sutherland.
And what's sort of happened, both defences have sort of dropped off a little bit deeper, haven't they? So it's opened up the space in midfield.
And that's why we've got end-to-end football. It's exactly the reason why. And this is entertaining to watch. It's great fun.
And for those who can't take their eyes off this one, let's just give an update around the ground. So Maitland up against Lambton. Jaffa's up 3-1. That's got about 20 minutes to go there. And Valentine against Adamstown. It is still Adamstown 2-1 with 20 minutes to go at Crowders Bay Complex. And
I'll tell you what, if Adamstown get a result, what a turnaround in a season for Adamstown. That'd be 4 on the trot.
It would be.
From coming dead last a few weeks ago to semi-final contention.
It would be an amazing story. An amazing story. Written off from the start of the season. Just like Valentine last year. We see Dino Fadshvit come to the sideline. He will head back out there. He's been a very good sport, Smudge, because we had a little bit of a dig at him on the NPL show the other
he's
week.
Good. Dino Fadge is a very good fellow, Dino Fadge. He's a bit of a character. Excellent player. With the Jets youth many years ago. Very talented player. Great acquisition for Magic.
Yeah, he sure has been. So is this man, Paul. He's a genuine hard worker and a hard footballer.
Wants to take it quickly, and Tom Davies, he was more interested in blocking the free kick. He didn't get back. Bradbury may make them pay. Tyler Warren, he has to make that save at the near post, and did.
So we just had a...
What's Leo saying on...
It's Leo Tagarilius, a good friend from Arnett's.
Keep commentating, CT. Leave the jokes to the comedians.
Well, that's fair enough, Leo. He's a good man for the Arnett's program, which, for those of you who don't know, is the children with special needs that Edgeworth put on. Mark and Mel Midson do a fantastic job in bringing all of that together. I've got to say, boys, really quickly, the numbers out there this year are massive. And with about 20 or so last year, and it's, I don't know, looking across the ground, 60, 70. So they're doing a fantastic job.
You have to congratulate all the clubs that have special needs, sporting events, sporting teams.
Yep, they do a fantastic job at Edgeworth, Lake Macquarie as well, as I understand. Plenty around town. It's great to see. Here's Pettit into Mooney. Gee, it was there for him again. Now Bertos takes on Houle. Piddington, gee, thumped that away.
Yeah, he read that well, didn't he, Piddington?
Green to McGuinness. Has to distribute quickly to Pappas, but he didn't see Bradbury coming from his blind side. And quickly they turn defence into attack, and Kyle Hodges almost assisted James Vigili there, going through a hole.
CT, this is end-to-end stuff, isn't it?
Mooney's
in here.
Sutherland tried to go with the outside of the boot. It ran into a brick wall in the form of Josh Piddington's boot.
Well, I like that about Sutherland. He did not pull out of that, Smudge.
Yeah, he's a good young player, isn't he?
His intention to run the ball.
And you know what? He's improved as well this year.
Well,
the first few games, he looked quite good on the ball, but he had quite a high turnover. He probably wasn't as aggressive enough, but now he's aggressive, getting stuck in. He's electing to pass or shoot. You know, he's been superb.
Yeah, that's right.
He's Mooney.
That's right, Smudge, and also the ability to have a bit of confidence at such a young age and be running at players as he is. So I think he's doing a fantastic job out there at the moment.
Well, boys, can I just say, great match of football this afternoon. Perfect autumn afternoon. No clouds in the sky. Is there any place you'd rather be? Maybe in Spain with Reece Cooper, but here's James Virgili. Threaded through. This could win it for Magic Bradbury. Scores his second of the afternoon, Carl Bradbury. And that one could be the decisive one.
So what they're saying here, Kyle Hodges was down there trying to look after Fajovic. Fajovic's on the ground. So Olympics defence was actually trying to help Fajovic. You know, they stopped play. They didn't and Magic's taken a quick free kick and scored. That's why Olympic didn't have any defence there. So.
And now Jacob Bailey and Pennington, bit of push and shove. Mooney and Shane Paul. Now Luke Virgili's coming across. Yeah, I didn't see that, Smudge. I was following the play, but good pick up there.
I think Kyle Hodges and a few of the fullbacks were over attending Fajovic, or just sort of waiting, you know, because they thought he was going to be attended to. Magic got the free kick. They took it quickly while Olympic had all stopped.
So will Magic let Olympic put one in the net here? Kyle Hodges, you don't really see him become incensed very often, and he was furious with that.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with Virgili and Bradbury because they played the ball nice and quick. They're allowed to. They're allowed to play the quick free kick. However,
and it's an unwritten rule. James
Yes.
clearly can't do anything about that apart from stop play. But
it'll be good to see the replay again. Like I said, we've got no replays in front of us.
so 4-2, Magic back out to that 2-goal lead, and you sense the spice will increase now after that. So John Majorowski will make his way onto the park. He's the leading scorer for Hamilton Olympic against Magic in these fixtures. He scored 7 times for Olympic against Magic, now in Broadmeadow colours.
Yeah, we haven't seen any replays, but Fajovic, he was down for a good minute or so, and therefore Olympic sort of stopped, waited for him to get treated, and Magic's taking the quick free kick and scored a goal. So Fajovic's been excellent today, hasn't he, CT? He's held the ball up very strong. Created a goal for Bradbury.
And Jed Hornery will go on. He scored during the week in the win over Western in the FFA Cup. Jed Hornery, 2 goals in his first 2 matches to start the season for Hamilton. Hasn't scored since. He's been injured, in and out of the side due to injury. See what he can come up with in the final quarter hour. Jed Hornery.
Solid game from Fajovic. He's really done well. He's put himself about. He's been dangerous. He's quick. His distribution's been good.
He's held the ball up well, hasn't he?
He has. He's been very, very solid for Magic, and just he's the danger that he brings with the other 2 attackers.
Yeah, totally agree. He's had a great game. But just for one for all the young boys out there, always play the whistle.
Well, that's should be a given. But you're exactly right, advice, because you never know.
Well, the clearance fell straight to Simon Mooney. He's just gone spiralling to the ground now after a collision. And now Carl Bradbury looks up. Free kick goes his way. Yellow card is out. So a couple for Bradbury, a couple for Virgili. Now they're both level on 8 goals this season.
Bradbury's been good today, hasn't he, CT? He's been dangerous every time he's had the ball. Scored 2 very good goals.
He's just been very quick at his action today. He's normally quick feet anyway, but his decision-making looks quick. Everything about him looks quick, and it's been an absolute handful for Olympic.
So Sonata loops one towards Majorowski. Hasn't scored in a couple of weeks, John Majorowski in the NPL. Mooney now. He's spinning away. That's 6 goals in 6 matches, in his last 6 matches against Olympic for Cale Bradbury. It's always the Cale Bradbury and James Virgili show when these two sides meet, it seems, of late.
And that's what I mean with Magic. If they can just get their defence in order, they have got the best defensive record at the moment in the league. They've got goals in them, and you got Fajovic, Virgili, Bradbury. Now Majerowski's on. You've got Oxborough to come back in. There's goals. There's goals everywhere.
Now here's Majerowski. This would seal it if Bradbury could knock in a hat-trick. So a 5th for Broadmeadow, and it's curtains. Well, it's still 2. It's always the worst lead in football, the 2-goal advantage. All you need is 1. And Magic all of a sudden under a bit of pressure. Olympic with the running. They've got to get another one here, Hamilton Olympic. And now Jed Horner, he looks up. He's got Matt Hull coming after him.
He's been very good again, Matt Hull. He's been out for a few weeks, come back. He's done very well today.
Pappas wants it back to Blake Green. Maybe just route 1 here for Olympic. Scott Pettit. Sees Mooney. He'd prefer to have him in the middle of the box right now and out there on the right flank. Nothing sweeter for Broadmeadow than a here at Darling Street. Here's Hornery quickly turning in the box. It will be a goal kick, so James Phil saying there was no deflection off a Magic defender.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. That looked like a corner. Pretty much everyone here.
Yep, I agree, CT. That's what I felt as well. So they haven't lost here since 2016. Broadmeadow Magic, round 6 that year. James Virgili scored the opener, and then it was all Olympic from that point forward. Last year they split the matches, but Olympics win came at Magic Park. This one dinked up and over the top for Hornery. Oh, gee, that is gone. Josh Piddington, he's tough. Gets straight back up.
Coming forward in numbers, Olympic. Really, only Hodges at home. The rest of them are all in play.
And that will indicate to you why Hodges has gone 126 matches at Olympic without a goal. Sitting back there when there's a corner on offer. Here's Pettit. Already won this afternoon, and that one too close to Paul Beards. Just the scores at the other ground. Still 3-1 at Maitland. Lambton over Maitland. And Adamstown 2-1 against Valentine. And 4-2 here. McGuinness. Come off the heel. And now with Burtos. Jed Hornery making himself available. And Simon Mooney's there in the middle. He's onside. The sun sets at Darling Street. Hamilton with the free kick.
There's been a goal at Windy Hill.
Oh,
Maitland's pegged one back. It's 3-2 to Lambton with about 15 to go.
So a grandstand finish at Cook Square Park. Will there be a grandstand finish here? Leo Burtos, and Mooney was rising. Came off a Magic head.
Great ball in, wasn't it, CT?
Yeah, it sure was. And this time we did see Hodges in the box, and he wasn't far off the action either.
Here's Burtos dinking it in. The punch falls for McGuinness. I think he was in at 2 minds there.
Yeah, it sort of bounced up, just stayed, drifted up and just held in the air, didn't it? So it was hard for him to get over it.
Yeah, Simon Mooney put his body on the line there, and he got up a little bit slow, but he seems all right.
Is there an illegal to bring it back to 4-3 CT?
Well, if there is, they would like to think that it's coming soon because they're starting to run out of time.
And here's a defensive move from Broadmeadow Magic. David Ifield is going to come on. Of course, a lot will remember him for that own goal he scored against Edgeworth. Back in round 3, it was 2-2. It was an unfortunate moment for the young man. He'll have to go out and grind this one down to ensure Magic have all 3 points.
Shane Paul again, he's had another workmanlike performance. It's week in, week out. You know exactly what you get from Shane Paul, don't you, CT?
Yeah, and he's just, apart from the workload, it's the strength of his tackles, the presence of him being there, and you're right, he just, it's week after week, it's the same level, and it's a high one every week.
So Hornery now. And that one behind Scott Pettit. The opportunity fading for Hamilton. Blake Green, he's not being tracked down the left edge, and that ball, he just couldn't cut it back enough away from Paul Bitts. So Magic, 3 wins in the last 4 derbies, could be 4 in 5 if the scoreline remains the same. It's been a red domination the last couple of years in the derby, or last few years I probably should say. Won both of those semi-final ties back in 2016. And so that win last year. Around 22, 2-1. So Ifield with the throw. Broadly taking it down into the corner. Just going to try and take some time out of this one.
So, boys, we have to start thinking about man of the match for today's game. There's been some strong performances from both teams. Obviously, Magic up 4-2, so for me, Carl Bradbury's been very strong today. Scored 2 goals, CT. He's been a menace to the Olympic defence. Fajovic, when he was on as well, he was a menace as well. Vigili's been very good as well. Cody Carroll in the centre of the park. Justin Brawley's been workmanlike again.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to single them out, it's pretty difficult because there's a lot of when we're looking just across Broadmeadow at the moment that have been good. But Bradbury, as I said before, he's always quick with his feet, but today his decisions have been quick. Everything about him's looked quick, and the way he's gone about being so threatening in that top third. And I think Dino Fadge has had a really, really good game as well, Smudge. But I tend to agree. I think the performance for Bradbury is one that's
well,
been really strong.
Both he and James Vigili really stepped up. A few lane matches for Vigili.
Yeah, they've both been menacing, haven't they? Threatening every time they get the ball.
So inside the final couple of minutes now in regular time.
Cody Carroll on the ball's been good as well.
Dinks it in broadly. And now Majorowski, can he put some icing on the cake? Another goal. Good love against his former club.
And of course, Smudge, we've got the Harry Schnitzel play of the day. I think you've singled that out with our young friend from before the start of the game.
Yeah,
his name was Harry.
His name's Harry as well. He watches Bar TV all the time. We need to find Harry and give him the Harry Snitty.
I did see him just a minute ago, or it's probably about 40 minutes ago, not a minute ago.
Well, he did pop his head around and say, can he get an interview after the game?
Did he really?
Yeah, 100%.
Here's Simon Mooney. Well, he just dinked it. It came off the shin. Couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, if we can find him, we'll give him the Harry Snitty player of the day. He loves his Bar TV.
We will find him.
He loves the Olympic as well. He predicted a 2-1 scoreline to Olympic today, but it's not going to be.
He's Broadley. His former coach at Lake Macquarie, Anthony Richards, sitting on an esky. He's been sitting on an esky the entire match. That's Richard. Is Vigili just offside?
Well,
Anthony Richards sitting on an esky. He's not sitting on the bench, on the esky.
no,
You
on
can
the
say he's
esky.
been near an esky all his life.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's probably got a couple of little cold ones in there, Smudge, and just whipping them way up when he's feeling a little bit under pressure. But you know what? He can sit wherever he likes in my books.
And we are going to see a debut here. So Joe Templey making his Hamilton Olympic debut from the bench. Played 8 times in the under-20s this year. Gets his first minutes in the top grade.
There's been another sub there, Bart. Did you miss it? Carl Bradbury.
Yes, Carl Bradbury coming off the ground. And Sam Webb heading out there. And Sam Webb, of course, grand final winner himself with the Magic under-19s a couple of years ago. Scored the winning goal against Western in the 1-0 win. Jed Hornery riding a couple of challenges. What a run from Hornery. It deflects up for Bailey. And there was a foul in the build-up. So Magic get away with it. CT, you'll remember that one. Sam Webb, a name to remember from a couple of years back. In the side coached by Nick Webb. Do you remember that grand final?
Yeah, that's right, Bart. It was pretty special, wasn't it?
Magic under-20s. Under-19s, wasn't it?
Under-19s, back when the under-19s and 23s competitions.
It's something we look forward to every year is the under-19s and 20s, 23s grand finals before the big one.
Well, I must say, I think of all the matches that have been done on Bar TV football, the under-20s grand final last year was by far the best of all.
The best commentator.
The best commentated, yep. Here's Jed Hornery. Now Scott Pettit. It's being pushed out wide.
Great pressure by Magic.
Yeah, look at the
Numbers, yeah.
the numbers and the pressure that they're putting on Magic. There's no way in their minds they're going to let this one slip away.
And they're away.
And now Sam Webb. Can he grab himself a goal in the top grade? Lays it off to Vigili. And now Majorowski running in towards the back post. Blake Green's clearance is just looped up and down. Tom Davies just hoofs it up the ground. Highfield may have caught one. Magic fans wanting the whistle blown. Pappas has passed straight to Majorowski. Couldn't quite find the radar there.
He's got pace, Webb.
He has. He's got speed to burn.
See, when the ball turned over straight away, Vigili's on his bike with his electric pace.
That's one thing Magic have got in droves. Plenty of pace in that front third. Sonata. Now for Webb, off the hand. And James Cleal says that will do this afternoon. And the Derby domination continues for Broadmeadow Magic as they win for the 3rd time in a row on enemy territory. And that's their 4th win in the last 5 matches between the sides. And that will take them to the top of the table and put a 9-point gap between themselves and Hamilton Olympic. And Hamilton's 4-match winning run comes to an end. And that's their 4th loss in 6 home matches this year. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground for Olympic in 2018. They've won just once here. Full time at Darling Street, Hamilton Olympic 2, Broadmeadow Magic 4. We will be having a chat to Carl Bradbury post-match. Scored twice this afternoon. James Vigili with a couple as well. And for Hamilton Olympic, Scott Pettit scored against his former club. That was his 4th goal in 4 matches. And Simon Mooney grabbed his 6th of the season. His 6th goal in his last 5 matches. He's been very good of late. Those two have been in top goal-scoring form, but unfortunately not enough for Olympic this afternoon. Chris Turner, a deserved result for Broadmeadow Magic, or do you feel it was closer than the scoreline reflects in the end?
Well, one thing I will say is Peter McGuinness will be looking back at some of the opportunities that didn't go in. Magic, of course, had some as well, but at the crucial times, if those goals had gone in for Olympic, then we may have seen a different story, but take nothing away from Broadmeadow here. They, across the park, we've singled out Kyle Bradbury as the man of the match, the Sports Click man of the match, but they had good quality everywhere, Bart, and I think that overall it was a team that's combined well together to get the job done. Even that last minute in extra time, the level of pressure they were showing in the back, inside their own box, defending for their lives, was something pretty special. So, look, all in all, a victory for Broadmeadow and well deserved.
Now, CT, Kyle Bradbury has joined us, but where's Smudge gone? He seems to have disappeared. He's down there chatting to Craig Carey, actually. So, CT, you take it away.
Well, we're here without Smudge. We're here with Kyle Bradbury. Kyle, mate, that's a big result. The local derbies, how big is it for you and for Broadmeadow Magic?
Yeah, look, it's a massive win today. We keep the roll going. I think that's 8 in a row now, including the FFA Cup. So, look, it's extra special today, obviously, beating the Greeks at their home ground. So we'll move on to next week and hopefully keep the roll going on.
They seem to be pressing pretty high, and you guys seem to be doing similar things in the first probably 20 minutes. It looked definitely like that. Once the game settled in, opened up a little bit more and created more opportunity for yourself and the other guys up front.
Yeah, well, but that's what the tactic before the game was press really hard early. And we did, and it sort of opened up in the second half and towards the end of the first half. So credit to Rubes, and yeah, his tactics worked today. So yeah.
I mentioned it before, there was no real, we singled you out as our Sports Click man of the match, but across the park it was pretty good from everyone. I can't see anyone that had a bad game.
Yeah, look, the last sort of 8 games, I don't think we've had a bad player in the park. Everyone's been contributing, so that's a big reason for why we're going so well as well. So it's just extra special that I got today, I suppose.
And for you personally, you're getting on the score sheet, must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it is good feeling. I think me and Chill are both on 9 goals now, so yeah, hopefully score a few more and keep the roll going on.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, and go and celebrate with your teammates because they're in there having a good time. All the best. Cheers.
Well done to Kyle Bradbury this afternoon. Smudge, do you want to grab your microphone? We've got Charlie here with us this afternoon, CT.
Got Charlie. So you can stand up, Charlie.
He's going to pop up, do the wrap-up with us. I'll try and get down so we can...
So, boys, just on that, I couldn't find Harry for our Harry Snitzel player of the day. The young fella, will get him his Snitzel voucher.
He disappeared, had he? Unbelievable. But, boys, just quickly, next week we've got a huge match between Broadmeadow and Maitland. Of course, Maitland going down this afternoon, is that right?
Yeah, lost 3-2.
3-2.
For more reports, Joe Willhouse played in the second half. Kandarowski was on the bench. But I think Maitland had quite a few players out, just talking to Craig Carey just down there, the Newcastle Herald reporter. So, it was a dominant performance by the first half by Lambton. Do you want me to just take over, CT? And but yeah, great. Going to be a big match up next week.
You want to say anything, CT?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, we'll hope you got more to say during the NPL show this week. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll look forward to it on the Thursday night. And Charlie, who do you think is going to win next week?
The Jets.
The Jets.
Okay, perfect.
Well, let's hope they get up. We'll catch you guys during the week.
Well, they're in the
Well, they're in the comp, yeah. You know what?
Yeah, good answer.